You know, every once in a while, I run across a story about technology that really hits the human heart. And this past week, I was introduced to a young woman by the name of Tilly. Now, Tilly is not your average 13-year-old girl. Tilly is amazing because Tilly was born with some disabilities, but thankfully for technology and for some big Hollywood stars, Tilly has a chance of being, well, I guess you'd say Superwoman, right? The $6 million girl. And Tilly, welcome to the Komando Show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, Tilly, what happened? You were born with what?
Well, I was born perfectly normal, happy, healthy baby. And then when I was 15 months old, I contracted a disease called meningococcal septicemia strain B.
Wow.
And yeah, septicemia is like a form of really bad blood poisoning, and I had a really bad case of it. And I basically got rushed to hospital, and because at first they diagnosed me with an ear infection, but my mum, because I had my older sister at the time and none of us had ever had an ear infection before, but deep down my mum knew like this couldn't be an ear infection, this was a lot worse. And it wasn't until she saw the sepsis marks on my body, the bruises, that she realised this is something serious. And coincidentally, it's as if it was meant to be, but my mum and her sister were actually reading a magazine literally like a couple of months before, and there was an article in the magazine about how to look out for septicemia, meningitis. And it's one of those articles that she said, obviously, you don't really want to read because it's quite sad, but, you should as a parent. And she read it, and there were pictures of those marks, the sepsis marks. And then as soon as she saw them on me, she, called the hospital straight away, and I was rushed there. They basically gave us 0% chance of survival.
Wow.
Because in the article it said 1 in 10, only 1 in 10 die. So my dad was like, oh, well, then she'll be all right, won't she? But they were just like, well, she is at the sicker end of the scale. And they basically said when they shut my body down, I was living off machines, trying to keep my heart going through machines.
Geez. That must have been heartbreaking for your parents.
Yeah, my mom's traumatized. We went, because I broke my arm at school, and then I went in to get the cast on, and it was the same place where I had meningitis. I rushed in with the meningitis I had as a baby, and my mum just stopped and went all dizzy, and I was like, Mum, it's fine, I'm here. But yeah, they basically just said, do you want to come in before we shut her body off, because it might be the last time you actually see her alive. She might not wake up. So it was really deep and scary, but hey, I'm here now, and I've done so many amazing things.
Okay, so tell us about your bionic arms. How did that happen?
Yeah, ever since I lost my hands, my mum made us a promise before I went in to get them amputated, and she said, Tilly, I promise one day you'll have your hands back. And we were really lucky, because when we were going in for the amputations, the doctor actually said to us, are you interested in having prosthetics in the future? And my mum, obviously I was 1, so I couldn't really make that decision for myself. My mum wanted me to have all those options available for when I'm older so that I could decide on my own. And lots of people don't get that. But the doctor amputated in a way which would be really easy for me to wear prosthetics. And ever since then, I've been trialing all sorts of different prosthetic hands. And the evolution of it has been crazy. 10 years ago, I was trying all sorts of hands. My first pair of hands was literally a socket to put my arm in, and then it had 3 hooks sticking out the top, tied together by elastic bands. And the way that worked is I moved my upper body, and then there's 3 little claws would close over.
So it wasn't really the best then.
No, not very ideal. And then 10 years later, we have these, and it's just crazy how far technology has developed.
Okay, so tell us about James Cameron, the movie, how you actually got this amazing piece of technology that's making a total difference in your life.
Yeah, so a movie recently came out. It was Alita Battle Angel. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend you should go see it because it's amazing. I've actually seen it twice. But in this film, Alita is bionic. She's got a berserker body. That's what they call it. It's kind of cyborg type of thing. It's all mechanical and really cool too. And she's kind of like a superhero. She just is so independent, does everything so amazing, and she's just a really great character that I could kind of relate to. So at my school, on the buses, Alita Battle Angel was actually advertised, and I would already say, oh, look, there's me, not knowing that I was going to the premiere just because I could relate to her, because like her hand was in it, going like that on her face. And I actually had no idea about the premiere at all. My mum and dad knew, but I thought I was just going to London to do a quick photo shoot. I knew I was getting some new hands because I grew out of my other ones, but I didn't know anything about the premiere. I didn't know that the hands would be based off the movie or anything like that. So when I got there, I like went into the room next door, and surprisingly, I was greeted with like 12 huge cameras, and John Lando, and Sammy Payne, she's like the co-owner of Bionic, the people who make the hands. They were stood with my hands in the box, and I was just like, what is going on? Because it was like really crazy experience. I knew something must be going on, but I didn't actually know. So it was just really shocking to me, because we were in like the Dorchester, and I was wearing some nice clothes and that, and I was like, oh, make sure I wear something nice. And I'm just like,
okay, so your mom totally knew what was going on. And so she surprised you. All right, so how long have you had your prosthetics now, your bionic arms and hands?
I got these ones in January.
Okay, so what's the one thing, Tilly, that surprises you the most that now you're able to do that you weren't able to do beforehand?
Well, since I lost my hand so young, I was 15 months old, so I actually have zero memories whatsoever ever having hands. So I've like really adapted very well because I didn't know anything different. And so I'm able to do quite a lot of things without prosthetics, but it's just so much fun wearing them, and I absolutely love them too. But they definitely help me to be able to multitask, because if you amputate both hands, you have to do everything with your two arms together. So it was really hard for me to do few things at a time, and I was able to hold a hot chocolate and pull a suitcase when I was in the train station the other day. I'm able to crack an egg, and it definitely helps with like cooking at when I want to like hold a bowl still and stare at the same time, because I wouldn't have been able to do that before.
Well, I think it's really, I mean, you've obviously acclimated to the hands, because as you've been speaking, and you're a beautiful, brave young woman, by the way. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy that you're here with us. But as you've been speaking, is that you've been actually moving your hair. I've been watching you moving your hair out of your eyes using your prosthetic, which is really cool. So has this inspired you to do something in the future in technology?
Yeah, I mean, we've been working with Bionics for like 4 or 5 years, and if this is what Bionics can come up with in 5 years, just imagine what it'll be like in another 5 years. And I'm just so excited for the day where everyone's just walking around with robotic limbs, and it's just completely normal, and I don't think it's very far off, and I can't wait.
Well, Tilly, thank you so much for joining us. You're an inspiration to everyone, really. And I know you're in the UK, but if you ever get to the United States, and if you ever get to Phoenix, Arizona, you have to come by and say hello. You promise?
Yeah, I definitely will.
Thank you, Tilly. And you see, ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls, it's just an example of really how technology can totally change a person's life. I mean, here you have Tilly, a young girl who now with prosthetics, something that we take for granted. I mean, she can carry a cup of hot chocolate, and she can carry her own suitcase in the train station. She can crack an egg. And that's why I'm so incredibly excited to do this show week after week. And if you have a story that you'd like to share with us, hey, let me know. Go to Komando.com, and at the bottom of the page, there's a link that says Contact Kim. Just send me a note through the website, and I'll be sure to check it out. Hey, thanks for watching. Now, a few things. Don't forget to click the like button, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for more digital know-how, check out all these other great links.